CTV News with Maya Johnson.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us. Here in Montreal and in other parts of the province, there have been more bursts of intense rain and more thunderstorms are in the forecast. After Sunday's rainstorm, some homeowners who've been flooded are on edge again and bracing themselves. One Dorval family is already sandbagging in front of their house. Christine Long has more.
Shanna Kavanagh got 24 sandbags from the city of Dorval and then sent her husband out to buy more.
Don't know how else to protect my house and my belongings.
She plans on keeping them at the top of her downward sloping driveway until November, because every time there's rain in the forecast, she worries.
I feel like I'm preparing for war against Mother Nature.
Last August, her basement flooded, and this past Sunday, it happened again.
This is my driveway filling up.
When Vinay Street overflows, the water cascades down her driveway.
So the pluvial system doesn't support the water, and I'm at the lowest peak of the street. So it overrides it overflows the curbs and then accumulates at the lowest point.
Other neighbors who have also been flooded say the rainwater accumulates quickly and drains slowly.
We've all been here for about 11, 12 years. None of us have ever had water, and then in this last year, like 3-4 times, the street's been completely full. So, I mean, you can blame the weather, but I think it's an infrastructure problem.
Just the stress of living through that again this year, twice in a year, when it's been 60 years without any problem with the water. So I don't know what the city can do. Dorval has to do something about it.
Mayor Marc Doré says Dorval is doing something. He met with Kavanagh to reassure her and others that the city is working on improving existing infrastructure to reduce the effects of heavy rains and providing some financial help.
With a grant program for residents, similar to the program that Montreal has today. One of the interesting features of that program will be for people who have downslope driveways. There is a solution that exists. It's a pressurized garage door, and the city will be giving in that program monies for people who want to convert from a traditional garage door to one of these efficient pressurized garage doors.
Good news, but not fast enough for some residents.
Rain like on Sunday, it'll be just overwhelming for us. It's too much.
Christine Long, CTV News.
And there was flooding in parts of Quebec City after a violent storm passed through that region earlier today. In Caroline, several streets in the city had to be closed.
Yes, Maya, traffic was disrupted in the older upper sector of the city after thunderstorms and heavy rain hit the area around 11 o'clock this morning. Quebec City police put out a warning about several streets that had to be closed to vehicles, and the local police had to ask only those with emergencies to call 911 due to a high volume of calls. Now, about 10 residents on a street did have to be evacuated from their homes in the middle of the day, though, and were put aboard buses by local firefighters. And the nearby city of Lévis deployed its teams to help with getting backed up sewers to be resolved. Here are some homeowners who were affected by the flooding today and an official with the fire department.
Le secteur qui était le plus touché, c'est dans le secteur là, Champlain, entre la côte de Céleri et la côte de Gignac, principalement le chemin du Petit Foulon, à laquelle on a dû évacuer une quinzaine de résidences.
Ça montait tout le temps, tout le temps, tout le temps. Là. Quand j'ai vu les autos, j'ai dit, on n'a même pas eu le temps de sortir pour sortir les autos, tellement que ça rentrait vite. Là.
So that last man there was saying that just in a matter of minutes after the rain began, the water on the streets began to rise and turn brown, suggesting that the sewers were unable to handle the heavy downpour. Environment Canada has issued a severe thunderstorm watch all day for southern Quebec with fears of flash floods. So far that has not happened, but they are still warning people especially to be careful about water activities, that they could be dangerous due to sudden and violent gusts of wind over bodies of water. And they're also advising everyone to take refuge inside when they hear thunder, as strong wind gusts can damage trees, buildings, and overturn vehicles. Maya.
All right, thank you very much, Caroline. And the weather we've seen this week has caused damage in the rural community of Saint-Uribe. That's about halfway between Trois-Rivières and Quebec City. The heavy rain that fell Tuesday night into Wednesday morning triggered a landslide. The pictures there you can see are just incredible. It triggered a landslide covering more than 15,000 square meters. No one, fortunately, was hurt, but a house on the edge of that crater had to be evacuated because the area is considered unsafe, of course. And with today's heavy rainfall, public security says the risk of another landslide is high. The Northern Tornadoes Project is looking into heavy damage caused by a storm that hit Saguenay this week. A storm struck the region Wednesday afternoon, knocking down trees and blowing out the wall of a company's garage. The storm researchers believe it was a microburst, a sudden downdraft of air. It could take several weeks before new satellite images can confirm the extent of the damage.
Weather brought to you by Gratian Scaff's second pair is a gift event, including designer frames for a limited time.
Well, as you can see, those have been very dramatic images in various parts of the province, Lauren. So I guess, I mean, everybody's wondering what to expect next.
That's right. So we do have some showers in the vicinity, and we're being told that there is still a chance of some thunderstorms in addition to those showers. So here's a look at our watches and warnings page. So much of southwestern Quebec and central Quebec is under this thunderstorm watch. We could see heavy rain and strong winds. It's expected to wrap up in the next, let's say, 4 to 5 hours. I just want to give everybody a heads up if you are headed out this evening. So that is still a factor. And much of north central Quebec is under a rainfall warning, including La Tuque. When everything is said and done, they could see 60 millimeters of rain by the end of the day today. We're currently sitting at 25. We did hit a daytime high of 30, so we surpassed what we were expecting for our high. And since that storm swept in, we're seeing those temperatures decline, and it still feels like 36, but overnight we are going to see some relief. Here's a look at our night planner. So yes, different weather models are showing different things. Our night planner shows that we will be dealing with cloudy skies. However, Environment Canada does say that we will still see the risk of showers and thunderstorms. Our low overnight will be 15 degrees, so we will get some cooling overnight finally after the heat wave we've been dealing with. Tomorrow, well, we're calling for lots of sunshine in the forecast. A daytime high of 25 degrees, feeling like 29, so humidity is a small factor tomorrow. I'll be back a little later in the show with a long-range forecast.
Coming up, a warning about the risk of riding e-scooters as the number of injuries surges. And why Quebec's language watchdog is cracking down on the owner of a St. Leonard barbershop. A warning from emergency room physicians about the dangers of riding e-scooters. New data on hospitalizations shows injuries from e-scooter accidents up almost 33% Canada-wide in 2024. And Matt, here in Quebec, there were 63 serious injuries.
That's right, and that represents a 50% increase here in Quebec. Just for context, there were about 1,000 scooter injuries overall between the period of April 2023 and March of 2024, and half of those were on motorized e-scooters. We've been seeing a lot more of these e-scooters on Montreal roads and bike paths in recent years, and perhaps the most concerning statistics from this report is that the biggest jump in injuries was among young people aged 5 to 17 years old, 60% more hospitalizations across the country in that age bracket. The Canadian Institute for Health Information, the group behind this new data, says it should serve as a warning that e-scooters are not toys and they should be treated with caution like any other motorized vehicle. CAA Quebec has also come out and called for clearer rules on e-bikes and e-scooters. Spokesperson Andre Durocher says a lot of users still are not clear on all of the rules, but generally it should be known that they're very similar to riding a bicycle.
We have a problem, I would say a nice problem, because it means that we have other alternatives than the automobile, which is great for the environment. It's great, to clear up traffic. But now, how do you manage that coexistence?
Of the 498 Canadians that were injured on a motorized scooter in 2024, 2/3 of them were men, and the age bracket that saw the most injuries was 31 to 45 years old. Maya.
All right, thank you very much, Matt. A barbershop in St. Leonard has been open for a year, and for about half that time, the owner's been dealing with the OQLF. The language watchdog is concerned about English, not just on the exterior signs, but also on social media. Matt Grillo explains.
Jesse Padullo runs the Corner Shop Barbershop. He started the business a little more than a year ago, but he says about 6 months in, language inspectors came knocking.
It's been rough ever since. So instead of me cutting hair, I'm going back and forth with emails and trying to run my business.
He says the OQLF first showed up for his outdoor sign.
Most people don't even know.
But then they targeted his Instagram videos. In a letter from the OQLF, the language watchdog cites Article 52 of the French Language Charter, saying it is against the law to publish on social media a commercial publication that is not in French.
I'm here to give a haircut, not a French lesson. If you walk in, bonjour, hi, qu'est-ce que tu veux, what would you like? I'll do it in both languages.
Padullo also has a file for his outdoor sign because the OQLF says French must take up twice as much space as other languages, and non-compliance could result in hefty fines, reaching as much as $30,000 a day.
One fine, I close the doors and I go on welfare.
Padullo says he's stuck in limbo and unsure what the next problem will be.
If I'm feeling stressed because I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, how can I give this service to my clients? So what happens? Everything just decreases because they walk in and I'm not the same Jesse.
He says he's not going to change his storefront sign and just wants to run his barbershop and take care of his clients. Matt Grillo, CTV News.
A new candidate has officially entered the race to become the next mayor of the city of Montreal. Craig Sauvé is a longtime city councillor, and he's also run and tried to win a seat for the NDP at the federal level. Stéphane Giroux reports.
The Southwest City Councillor for the past 12 years is now after the top job.
I'm very proud to announce today that I'll be running to be the next mayor of Montreal.
Craig Sauvé is also forming a new political party called Transition Montreal.
And that's why our party, Transition Montréal, will run candidates in all corners of the city in order to open up the debates and talk about the greatest needs of the population.
His first major promise: increase the property tax for those he calls the ultra-wealthy.
This property tax would target owners of single-family dwellings or luxury condos valued at over $3.5 million. All this money that will be raised through this tax on the ultra-rich will be entirely dedicated to fight against homelessness.
Sauvé accuses his former party of failing to provide the leadership needed to address the city's problems, including housing. But he's also entering a competitive field. Projet Montréal picked Plateau Mayor Luc Rabouin as Valérie Plante's successor. The official opposition Ensemble Montréal party picked Soraya Martinez Ferrada as its mayoralty candidate.
Well, I think people and citizens, what I've been hearing everywhere is that they want to be here. They want to be listened to. If you take, for instance, Camille Hood, they weren't listened to. And I think that's the common denominator when I talk to Montrealers right now, is that they don't feel listened to.
Bloc Montreal leader Balarama Holness announced he would not run for mayor this time around and instead support independent candidate and anti-racism activist Joël de Bellefeuille. The electoral campaign is set to begin in 2 months. Political analyst David Hurtel says right now Projet Montréal appears to be the front runner.
The idea here now becomes a question of organization and money. And right now, it seems that Projet Montréal has that leg up, even though Luc Rabouin is completely unknown, and the people that do know him see him as actually somebody that could be even further to the left.
Hurtel adds anything could happen between now and Election Day in November. Stéphane Giroux, CTV News.
The Transportation Safety Board is investigating after a car went into the Mille River. The car was aboard a ferry that runs between Laval and Ibiza. The car went into the river as it was trying to disembark. It appears a mooring line came loose and the ferry had drifted away from the dock. The driver was rescued by ferry employees. It was treated for shock. The car was pulled out of the river and is a total loss. Restaurant owners can now charge a fee to people who make a reservation but don't show up. That means restaurants are allowed to ask for a credit card number when people make reservations now. The fee can be applied only to groups of 2 or more and can only be charged if no one shows up. Restaurants also have to send out reminders within 2 days of the reservation in order to charge the fee. Restaurateurs say the change is long overdue.
If people doesn't show up at the reservation and they have give many hours to the staff and they also order more food than usual, it's most costly for them if you don't show up.
The Restaurant Association says no shows can cost a restaurant tens of thousands of dollars a year. And just ahead, why a merger of 2 convenience store giants isn't happening. After a year-long negotiation, Couche-Tard is backing away from its attempt to buy 7-Eleven. Quebec's convenience store giant has been trying to buy the Japanese conglomerate that owns thousands of 7-Eleven stores around the world. But Couche-Tard dropped its $47 billion bid because of a lack of, quote, sincere or constructive engagement, it says. Shares in Couche-Tard spiked at the news that the takeover attempt was ending, rising almost 10% in morning trading on the TSE. Blue-collar workers in Laval are on strike. They walked off the job this afternoon and will be on strike until Saturday night. Until then, they have to maintain essential services. The 850 workers also went on strike in March. They've been without a contract since December of 2021. And STM maintenance workers were protesting today. They're warning they could go on strike again during the busy back-to-school season. The 2,400 employees say the main issues are flexibility with work schedules, work-life balance, and job security. They already staged a 9-day walkout in June. According to the union, despite 9 meetings with management and a mediator, talks are not progressing.
They're not in very good state at all from what I've been made aware of. Since our last strike, there's been 9 meetings for negotiating and nothing is advancing, even with a mediator in place. So this is a problem. It has to be advanced more.
The STM says it's surprised by the union's actions today because the mediator asked both sides to keep the process confidential. And workers in Quebec's provincial parks are expected to announce if they're going on strike this weekend. The SAPAC workers have been voting this week on the contract offer from the provincial government. The agreement in principle was reached just before the strike that was set to be launched on Saint-Jean-Baptiste weekend. Québec Solidaire has launched a petition to change how the housing ministry calculates rent hikes. 3 months ago, Housing Minister France-Hélène Duranceau proposed a new formula based on 6 variables, including taxes and inflation. According to the opposition party, if this formula was already being used, rents would have gone up 6% this year. Québec Solidaire says any calculation should reward landlords who improve their buildings and reduce pressure on renters. Still to come, breast cancer survivors conquer another challenge.
For breaking news and local news that matters to you, download the CTV News app right now by scanning the QR code on your screen using your smartphone. Or you can also go to our website, ctvnewsmontreal.ca. Download the CTV News app and stay on top of local stories as they unfold.
An all too familiar sight.
Customize your feed and watch live wherever you are. ctvmontreal.ca, your home for news.
A team of Canadian breast cancer survivors has won gold at the World Dragon Boat Championships in Germany. They won the small boat 2-kilometer race and the standard boat 2-kilometer race. Some members of the team are from the West Island Dragons, based in Pointe Claire. After dealing with breast cancer, these women say their victory was that much sweeter.
We were both very surprised and happy and, I don't know, overjoyed. There were lots of tears already. Getting up on a podium and having "O Canada" play in the background with your flag being raised is quite the moment.
And the why is, I guess, we just keep going at it, right? We're not going to give up. We keep going until we make it, right? And that's the philosophy for everybody in the team. I mean, they've been through a lot. They have practiced. They've put in their 100%, even 200%. I mean, they do the practice. They do the training.
The The Just for Laughs Festival is now underway. This year's edition features 250 shows in 25 downtown venues, and organizers say the event is attracting some big names.
Our galas are really amazing this year. They're hosted by Fortune Feimster and Michelle Buteau and Roy Wood Jr. and Mikey Day from Saturday Night Live. We've got the internet sensation Adam Ray as his character Dr. Phil that'll be headlining the outdoor stage on Thursday, July 24th. We've got international stars like Rhys Darby, Russell Howard, Nick Mohammed, if anybody's a Ted Lasso fan. He's doing a run of shows at Jésus. We've got Danny Boy back in Montreal. He's a festival favorite, bringing his new show Dear World to the Jésus. And then we've got huge hit stars from the US and Canada. Russell Peters is back with Sabrina Jalise.
And there will also be some free shows and activities. Time now for another look at weather. A lot of very active weather, Lauren, we've seen. So what more can you tell us?
Well, as I said earlier, we still have some showers in the vicinity, so there is still a chance of some thunderstorms as well affecting parts of southwestern Quebec. That includes Montreal, as well as central Quebec, including Quebec City, and north central Quebec is under a rainfall warning. When everything is said and done, they could see up to 60 millimeters by the end of the day. Here's what we're forecasting for the next 24 hours. Our overnight low, I want to highlight this, is 14 degrees. So we've been dealing with extreme heat even at night. So it's the first night where we finally see some relief. We start our day off with a few clouds, seeing some clearing. 16 degrees being our wake-up temperature. We'll see that mercury climb to 25 tomorrow, feeling like 29, and we're calling for mostly sunny skies into the afternoon. Our long-range forecast shows that the weekend's shaping up nicely. It's going to be a mix of sun and clouds on Saturday. Sunday, we could start the day off with a few showers. We're estimating only 2 millimeters, so not significant. Monday, I want to highlight, though, our daytime high, that's not a typo, 21 degrees. I'll be back at 6 o'clock with more weather details.
Thanks, Lauren. That's it for us. Mitsumi will be here at 6 o'clock with the latest local news. And now here is Sandy Ronaldo with CTV National News.